much for joining us. Siyum Gemara Succah, and thanks for staying. It's sorry for the shir matzah with the mizonas and whatnot. It was the very last second put together. I just got back into town. So my name is EfrayimBrown. This is my father, my uncle, and they lived on Winona. That's why we wanted to do it dafka here. It's Rachel Bas Naftali is the yard site. It's for her, the Nishmas. And so I'll just assign the Sefta of the Kaddish real quick while I have the meeting. Bishlam Lamanda Amar Mishmarso Shahava Lavo Hainu the consonant of the Kul Mishmar El Lamanda Amar Miriam Bas Bilga Shamiria the Tasa Mishum Barse Kanansin Le Ledide Amarabaya in Kadamri Inshi Shusa Dinoka Bishuka O Davua O Deima Umishum Abua Vaima Consonant the Kula Mishmara Amarabaya Ola Rasha Ola Shchuna Tov Letzadik Tov Shchuna Shnamar Amr Tzadik Kitov Kipri Malehem Yochel. And this last part of the Masechta of the tractate Sukkah is was talking about the different mishmaros, the different guards that were doing service in the temple, and we're wondering why everyone was punished because of the actions of one person, a few people, Bas Bilga, and we brought an example of what happens, when a child says something bad in public. Are you going to punish everyone? And we say that when someone says something bad in public, it's surely coming from their parents. But even because of their parents, are you going to punish everyone? So it brings up the question of punishing everyone because of the actions of one. And I'll say a little more on that afterwards. But let's do the Hadron right now. Hadron Allah, Achalil V'Salkan Allah, Masech Sukkah. Hadron Allah, Achalil V'Salkan Allah, Masech Sukkah. Hadron Allah, Achalil V'Salkan Allah, Masech Sukkah. Hadron Allah, Masech Sukkah. Hadron Allah, Daiton Allah, Masech Sukkah. Daiton Allah. Amen.
Right.
Amen. Guys, so I wanted to just share a shtickle word, a little before this, just to explain the idea of a siyum is to the whole idea of learning is we're going somewhere, we're moving somewhere. A siyum is a culmination of all of that. So we're learning Talmud and pages and pages and words, and the idea of siyum is to bring everything together to completion, to shleimus, and so it's a lot of people start a siyum when they finish a siyum. We also start the Mishnah, the next part of the next Gemara, because we're not finishing. We're moving on, and we're hopefully starting. That's the whole idea of the Hadron that I said. There's not really a good English translation of it, but we say that because it's our way of saying. Thank you for giving us all of this wealth of knowledge, and we hope to come back to you very soon. We hope that you'll come back to us, meaning that we recognize our memory is very frail and fragile, and that it will come back to us when we need to remember something. So that's the idea of the Hadron that I said afterwards. The idea of the Kaddish is every time that we say Kaddish is the most important part of the Kaddish is Yehei Shmei Rabba Mibarach L'Olam Aleichem, which is that Hashem's name should be blessed and exalted forever, and that's one of the most important things to say on a yard site, like Grandma's yard site, is the Kaddish, that someone's neshama, that someone's soul is being uplifted by everyone coming together to say that together. So just to share something real quick that I was learning. And there's many things I learned in here. The Gemara is called Sukkah, which is related to Sukkos, the Sukkot holiday. festival of booths, and I was very surprised that a lot of it was relevant for things completely outside of just the holiday. And one of the things that I learned about, and this is Perek Shlishi Lulav Gazel, is talking about the idea of mitzvah hababa avera, which is the idea of a mitzvah that comes by way of a mitzvah, like a good thing coming by way of a bad thing. So, for example, I was giving my mom an example the other day. It's like stealing money and giving it to tzedakah. You think you're doing such a great thing by giving money to tzedakah, but it came from a bad source, so you're not really doing a good thing. So the Gemara talks about this, and the example that the Gemara gives, the Talmud gives, is someone who steals a lulav, one of the minim, the species that we shake for sukkahs, and everyone has to own one. So you have to own it, you have to buy it, you can't borrow it, and the Gemara here says you can't steal it. So someone who steals a lulav, and he wants to go do a mitzvah, you think he's doing such a great thing because he's risking everything, he's risking getting caught, and whatever the punishment is, by stealing something to go serve God. But the Gemara is coming to tell us you're wrong, that it doesn't work like that. So this Gemara talks about a lot of the Tosfos here, which is one of the commentaries, talks about somebody, even if somebody were to steal some chitim, some grain, and grind it up and make all these different changes to it. So there's a question: what if you change it up and then it's not considered the same thing? Then it's like something different. Shinoi Maisa, right? So then maybe it's with the shinoi, it's with a change. Then it's not the same thing. Some people steal money and then they wash it or whatever. I don't know the process. Send it through the Caribbean or whatever. Then they come out and then it's clean money and then they want to donate it. Like, that's okay, right? That doesn't work. So Tosfos says here, before the IRS and before the police and the Department of Treasury, we had Tosfos telling us that doesn't work either. So even if you ground up chitin, this grain, and you grind it up, and you want to make these nice matzahs for Pesach, for Passover, and you want to make a big nice bracha on it, and have your Passover Haggadah there, and show what a good Jew you are. It says garnished. No good. It's a mitzvah of avera. It's a mitzvah of avera. It's a mitzvah that comes by way of a sin. And so I won't go too deep into the Mefarshim, but the basic idea is really important. Is that we can't gain anything by stepping on other people. We can't gain anything by stealing from others or taking from others. And the most important thing is having emunah in Hashem, having faith that our portion is what we're allotted, and that's what we're meant to deal with, and that it's not going to save us by stealing anything, by taking anything. And it's brought down that people who think that they're going to get ahead in life by working on Shabbat or whatever, it's just coming out of their normal. It's going to come out of their normal wages during the week. So you're not getting ahead. Whatever you're allotted on Rosh Hashanah, when we're all allotted our lot for the year, that's what you're allotted. So you have to realize that what you're allotted is what you're allotted, and while there's certainly ways to get more in a permissible fashion, if you're trying to cut the corners, it doesn't work, even if it's for something that you perceive as good. So that's the idea from Gemara Succah, and I thought that this stood out to me, related to my grandmother Rose Brown, Rachel Bas Naftali, that she was always, her biggest focus, the hikr was always that her children and grandchildren should be mentioned. That should be a mensch, that her son should be a mensch, that her grandson should be a mensch. And I remember hearing a lot of words of Yiddish from her, and mensch was probably the most prominent word hearing from her. And that's the idea, that that everything that's coming to us is coming to us, and that we shouldn't have to go the back way, because I remember when I was little, it wasn't when I didn't have such strong bitachon and didn't have such a close relationship with God, it was more like, what would grandma say? What would my parents say? What would grandma say? So So that's the idea, that every mitzvah should come through the right way, and Mirz Hashem, mitzvah Gereris mitzvah, will hopefully be celebrating another Siyum next year on the yard site, and Mirz Hashem with my Kala, who's going to be watching this from Paris, and all the family would love for her to be here, but that's the case, and Mirz Hashem will be here next year for another Siyum.
Subscribe.